Hey everybody, we're getting a liftoff from Salvation. It is game number 2 up against Greengoblin, and Greengoblin showed us how to play Roach Hydra against a Bio Terran. And while this is floating over and there's, we got an Overlord that's going to scout it here fairly soon, we'll talk a little bit about that. If anybody's tried going Roach Hydra against Bio, they know just how incredibly difficult it is to be able to play in that style. Like, you need to be overwhelming in your army all the time. If you fall behind even slightly against Bio with Roach Hydra, you almost inevitably will lose. And speaking of inevitability, I almost never see Gold Rush games, Gold Rush, where the game goes more than 10 minutes. So we'll see what Greengoblin can do about this. The approach that I've seen work really, really effectively is you pull all of your drones as soon as you scout it, and you ransack the base. And you do all the damage you can. That works out quite often. That, I believe, is like one of the official counters that I've seen for it. We are not getting a pull out of Greengoblin here, though. Sometimes it's nice to just think, oh, he's going to be so far behind in tech. I'll just play this out totally normal. But then you get people that just go for, tanks. They get 2 or 3 tanks and a bunch of marines, and then they just go crush face. This huge injection of early game minerals works really, really well. And looks like he's going to go 2 racks. It's important to get this wall off piece here. You've got to make sure it's nice and tight so that early Zerglings don't rush you. Interestingly enough, he decides not to get a pool. He's actually going to expand. Fairly ballsy in my mind, considering that it's pretty easy to take this type of play and do a 2 racks push with 8 or 10 marines and then just win. Overlord is seeing this, so obviously this isn't a surprise to Monsieur Greengoblin. No gas taken yet either. Going to be going with them slow lings. And I'm interested to see just how his take on dealing with this is. I've seen a lot of different approaches. The drone pull approach, the slow macro, take 3 bases and hit them with roaches. I wouldn't even mind seeing somebody go for like swarm hosts and just pressure that base. This is going to be scouted. I don't know if Greengoblin he can see that Overlord there. He does not want to lose that Overlord. We just got division there of Greengoblin for a second. Couple of drones trying to do a bit of work. 6 lings are on the way. There is a spine crawler going down in the main. I like that. If you can get a spine crawler to stay down here, awesome. But if it gets shut down, what you don't want to have happen is that you've got nothing back up in here to deal with and move off until later stages of the game. The Zerglings do a bit of delay tactics here. These guys might run around to try and pressure for some reinforcements. But it looks like this bunker will go down, almost for certain. Wouldn't mind seeing maybe one more spine. Yeah, there we go. It's a risky spot to put that spine in. Oh, he loses all of his Zerglings. Little bit of miscontrol there. Looks like that spine is just slightly in range. No, he's still shooting the hatch. So perfect placement on these spines here to be outside of the range of the bunker. Did we see those Zerglings run around the other side? I don't know. Does a double salvage and just heads home. Not going to stick it out with the 2 spines there. He got in quite a bit of damage though. Units wise, he's up huge in workers. 18 workers to 14. And he's already expanding again. This looks really, really great for Salvation right now. I must say, he's got out a pretty good sized army. If these spines weren't here, it'd probably be a different story. Still have slow lings out on the map. There is gas now taken, but he's just going to have to drone up like mad for a while just to make sure that he's going to try to keep up in that economy that's just, if we look at the income, it's going to be sick. Terran's quite far ahead and has both of his gases already right now. Going to have a bunker down at home, and he can just transition to a fairly normal game. As long as he pulls a few marines back to deal with it. It looks like he will, just in time. Otherwise these lings might have been able to come up here and at least get a cancel on this. Bunker is down. He's actually going to start putting stuff on the low ground so we can get down an engineering bay. So this looks like the most impressive transition into the mid game that I've seen from this opening strategy before. Gold rush plan. And I'm interested to see what our Zerg player wants to do about it now. He could just play a standard game and act like this is nothing different. But he did take quite a bit of damage from that 2 barracks rush, which he saw coming. So I was a little surprised he played it as casually as he did. And even going right into the factory transition. Same old, same old. Creep spread, which Greengoblin did very great in game 1. Moving along just fine. He is throwing down a third base. Big pile of drones, but a big time supply block right now that I don't think he's aware of. Either that he doesn't have any larvae, because he's got larvae. He needs to start making them overlords. Sometimes getting up against these really unstandard, unorthodox games just kind of screws you up a little bit. But our Terran guy's doing great. He's got his Hellions out on the map. He's got Stim on the way. +1 happening right now. I'm sure the only thing that he's really concerned about... Ooh, actually might get that. Which would be funny as heck. These spines are going to come down to the low ground. Hopefully they'll burrow just in time. There's no Stim +1 or anything else to support these Marines, but they should still be able to wrap around the bottom here and get the cancel on this third. Queen kind of wants to bait a little bit, but it does not want to get caught off creep. Losing the queen would be very sucky. He lets it finish. Really interesting timing. He kept the queen alive. Oh man, big mistake from our Terran player there. Got baited into that queen. And at the same time, looks like a couple of Zerglings actually ran in over here. Did he get any damage in? 6 kills with Greengoblin on workers, so it looks like he managed to come in here and actually hit quite a few. Not great surface area on these Marines. Actually, will just slip by. Where's all the Hellions and stuff? This is really strange. I didn't think that this would be so much of just a complete run over. Hellion spawns on the wrong side, unfortunately. So that will get shut down. He does have another base finish, though. If the Terran can recover from this, maybe things could be different. Cannot kill the engineering bay in time. Hellions in the back are keeping everything going just fine. He did do a big round of drones at home here. So he's just going to sit out front and try to catch anything that comes out. He's got a Spire on the way. He's got a big lead in workers. Just really good timed pressure here from Greengoblin. This base, I don't know what he just cancelled. Okay, that makes sense. More barracks on the way. Like I said, he does have all these bases, but once the Spire's finished, we're already starting to see the gas bank climbing for our Zerg player. Bunch of Zerglings out on the map. They have 0-0. 1-1's about to finish. Whereas 1-1 is a little ways off now. It's just +1 attack for our buddy on the other side. A couple of Banelings morphing. He is afraid of getting hit by any drops at the top here, so he's spreading out some overlords, putting some lings in some good spots just to pick those off or see them on their way. This one Viking's going to be annoying as heck, though, shutting down any type of vision that may exist. There is one medevac out, but that kind of is most of his army with that medevac, so I don't know if he's really going to want to go drop that right now. Lots of Zerglings out. Starting to see the mutas pile up. He did spend on +2 upgrades and centrifugal hooks, so he's not going to get that big pile that I think he really wanted to. Good control out of there, Greengoblin. Did just keep one more Overlord alive. We do have our medevac on the way right now. Creep spread's already more than halfway across the map. 4th base on the way. The Zerg player's just in his comfort zone again. We have our mutas out now. He needs to hit at the same time with the Zerglings so he doesn't lose his mutas to something foolish here. There is boost. It will get the medevac pretty much away. Oh no, bad control. Oh, that's so bad. Very unfortunate misclick there from Salvation. There are Marines here to protect this base a bit. He is making more mutas now. Ooh, almost loses one. Doesn't have enough to really throw him away. Only one missile turret in this base. You will see that this base is on the way. Ooh, almost loses one muta there. That'd have been a little bit yucky. Zerglings and banelings morphing over here. He might still go for a bust. Looks like a misrally of some mutas over here. Almost gets that armory. That might not have been a bad pickup. A little bit of miscontrol here out of Greengoblin on some of the mutas. But he's got this amazing creep spread. Better upgrades. I think he is... Well, his +2 is about to finish up for his attack. Stim wasn't even finished this whole time for the Terran. And we have this base down here just for the gas. Going to go up to that huge mutaball. This will be great to deal with these tanks. The old school Zergling style. Zergling, Baneling, and then mutas for picking off tanks and medevacs. The way she be. +1 is going to be finishing up here pretty quick for the mutas. No, a little bit of bad control again. I don't know if that was on purpose. He did actually trade pretty good with the Marines. But that's not quite the way you want to do it. This base up here, pretty well saturated, except for his gases. Need to get people into that. And it's just, the Terran on 3 bases can do quite a bit of damage. I don't think he has to worry as much about whether or not he gets up to 4 right away. Zerg players even got the gold bases, 5th, happening. Actually doing quite a bit of damage to the gas here at this base, and no, he did finally take the gas back on this side. Zergling ball slowly growing, slowly. Lots of lings and banelings on the map, but he's almost maxed with just mutiling baneling, which is pretty deadly. +2 attack on the way for the mutalisks. Looks like we did have a drop down here, but look at all the units. He's going to try to follow it and maybe pick it off. We have the mutas flying to intercept. Afterburner's about to pick up again. Salvation was not paying attention to his army. He might have thought it was dead anyways and decided to just get as much damage in as possible. Clears a good chunk of creep, but it looks as though Greengoblin doesn't want any of that and is going to head right back out to spread that around. Tanks have no upgrades right now. Loses a couple of mutas there. Whatever damage he can do is generally alright, but the Terran's looking for really cost-effective trades right now. We do finally have some Widow Mines out. Gold base pretty much mined out. Do have an Widow Mine over here that shot at an Overlord, so it didn't get any kills, but it's giving good vision. More mutas on the way, big pile of Zerglings just heading down right now. And it looks like he wants to go for a big time wraparound. Tanks were unsieged, just to add a little bit of insult to injury there. Looks like he threw away a bunch of his mutas though, came in kind of the wrong time for that. But he will clean up the medevacs. He's just going to ransack these bases. Command center is going to go down. This base is getting crashed. This base is already completely overrun. Greengoblin has played very impressively in this. I might have to see if there's any more of his replays out there to pick up, because he played a really smart ZVT in a very unorthodox situation. Terran once again going to hang on as long as he can, but there's the GG. Great game out of Greengoblin. Can't say that enough. SeKo Starcraft, thanks everybody. We'll talk with you later.